Hello everyone, Chef here, and welcome to week 4 of Chef's Chilled Summer. Recently I've been thinking a lot about Chapter 2 Season 3, because it releasing 2 years ago. Jesus, where did the time go? And I've been thinking a lot about the locations, and how they were all really good inclusions, until I thought about Coral Castle, and I wondered, why is this location hated so much? In the device event, Midas, in an effort to stop the loop, pushed the storm back, and he was almost successful in his attempt, as the normal storm was gone. But the imagined order replaced the normal storm with a wall of water, which was very unstable and only lasted about 3 days until the wall of water dropped, flooding the island. Then Chapter 2 Season 3 began, and one of the most noticeable differences was how the islands near the shark were pushed out more than before, and there was a giant whirlpool in the middle. Just forget that the stages of the map progressively with less and less water were leaked out of the first week of the season, and that there were glitches so the water wasn't there. And the fact that this time people started to glitch the game so they could play old game modes like drifting and use a driftboard to go underwater. People were still very interested on what was beneath the whirlpool, especially since that command was a secret skin of the season, and a bit of Coral Castle was blurred out in the Black Manta teaser. And soon after, in the update version 13.30, Coral Castle was unveiled, and for a short period of time, Coral Castle wasn't called that, but instead its codename Carl. The reason it was called Carl was because of the show The Walking Dead, where the main character Rick, played by someone who's British, Andrew Lincoln, had to put on an accent, and when he says Carl, it sounds like coral. Coral Castle was a completely new and original POI, using nothing from before. It was a giant ditch with water flowing down, and having ancient Atlantean architecture everywhere, and to go alongside Coral Castle, it even had its own peaceful music. But Coral Castle wouldn't always be loved. As people dropped there, they realised that it wasn't that good. For starters, you have to build to get out of the area, which is a big no if you're a competitive player. You need to conserve your materials for fights. And for some reason, it had a pretty low chest spawn. Chapter 2 Season 4 happened, and I think at this time they got rid of 100% chest spawns, which deterred people from landing coral even more. And as the seasons went by, people just kinda realised that Coral Castle didn't have a lot going for it. Just look inside some of the buildings, it's just shrine after shrine and every building looked the same. Then in Chapter 2 Season 7, when the aliens arrived, Coral Castle was the second location to be abducted, and people celebrated because they thought coral was gonna go completely. And I personally thought floating coral was pretty cool. And when coral got abducted, it was still here, and had half the chest spawns before and half the buildings gone, making the community want it to go even more. Then Operation Skyfi happened and Coral got a minor update. A bounce pad from an abductor crashed into a crater, helping out with mobility. This would have been good if it wasn't added, I don't know, not the last season of the chapter. And Chapter 3 started. People were happy that Coral was finally gone, until Chapter 3 Season 3. After the events of the collision, the 0 point was free once again, but because it wasn't in a contained environment, it created the reality tree. The reality tree through the course of the season grew underneath the island, with some of its roots visible as it got closer to its first destination, Logjam Lumberyard. Here the reality tree grew its first tree, which caused Logjam each game to switch between different time periods. After Logjam, the Butter Barn was next, and for some reason, it had a coral variation. And ever since when the reality tree hits a new target and starts to grow, every location has a Coral Castle variant. This backs up my point before about the original POI looking the exact same and having no variation, apart from the building placement. At least if you compared Western Sleepy Shrubs and Western Logjam, there is some difference. For now, this is the end of the most hated location in Fortnite's history. If it's going to fully come back and replace the location is unknown, but I think I can speak for everyone who plays the game by saying, no, we don't want it.